Most people, when they start out with a pair of pocket aces, feel that they have a great chance to win. But sometimes, all you need is a pair of pocket threes. Phil Hellmuth, a professional poker player on the World Series of Poker, went all in on a pair of pocket threes to win his most recent and record-setting 15th World Series Poker Championship bracelet. During this video, I will explain to you why a pair of pocket threes can sometimes beat a pair of pocket aces. But to start off, I need to mention that there are many different types of poker. In this video, I will be mentioning Texas Hold'em, but there is also Omaha, 5-card stud, Mississippi stud, Raz, Chinese poker, and various other types of poker that are not mentioned by me. To start out, you play with the standard 52-card deck, no jokers. In Texas Hold'em, every player is dealt 2 cards. After each player is dealt their 2 cards, say I'm the dealer, the person sitting to the left of the dealer will put out an ante. Now, to understand what an ante is, you have to understand that each player is given a chip amount to start the game. For this video, I will say that white chips are 1, blue chips are 2, red chips are 5, and black chips are 10. Now, obviously, you're not given the same amount of chips for every amount distribution. So for whites, you have 10, blue, you have 10, red, you have 5, and black, you have 3. So I'm the dealer. I deal out everybody 2 cards for Texas Hold'em. Then the person sitting to my left is called the small blind. They put out 1 chip. The person sitting to his or her left is the big blind, and they put out 2 chips, or 2 amount value. Now, everyone else looks at their card and goes, hey, I've got a pretty good hand. And if they have a pretty good hand, like King 10 suited, they'll be like, I want to play. So they also will put out a 2 chip amount. Now, if you have a bad hand, like 6-2 offsuit, you will fold, which means you are out for this hand. But if you're feeling lucky or feeling risky, you can play this by simply putting in 2 chips. Now, if you have a really good hand, like pocket aces, you might be feeling a little lucky, so you might want to raise the big blind, which means that you're going to put out 4 chips because you have to bet the minimum of the big blind. So you have to bet a minimum of 2. So if you're feeling lucky with your pocket aces, go ahead and put out 4 chips. Now let's say everyone else calls that 4 chips. A call is basically saying you're going to match whatever someone just bet. So if someone bet 4 and I want to call them, I also put out 4. Now once the pot or all the money is good, then the dealer will go ahead and show the flop. Now showing the flop, you must burn a card that no one gets to see and then flip over 3 cards. Now this is called the flop. Now the person who has the pair of pocket threes might not be feeling too confident with a flop of King, 10, and Queen. Now the person with pocket aces is still feeling pretty good. But the person with King 10 is feeling really good because they have 2 pairs. Now, the basic hand breakdown in poker is high card, pair, 2 pair, 3 of a kind, a straight, which is 5 cards in a row, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then it goes flush, which means 5 of 1 suit. So in that case, it would be 5 hearts. Then it goes full house, which is 1 pair and 3 of a kind together. Then above that is a straight flush, which is 5 cards in a row that are the same suit. Then you have 4 of a kind, which would be like 4 aces. And then the best hand in poker is the royal flush, which is ace, king, queen, jack, 10, all of the same suit. So that's just a little breakdown to help understand. So the person who has, King 10 is feeling pretty good right now. They've got 2 pair just off the flop. Now they want to go ahead and bet. But you must bet in your turn. That is how poker works. You have to go in order. That's what makes this game what it is. So it always goes to the person left of the dealer. So first it'll be the small blind. The person in the small blind, if they're still in, gets the first action. Let's say they're in. They're sitting here with the pocket aces. So they're going to go ahead and remember, you have to bet the minimum of the big blind, which is 2. So they're going to go ahead and double it. And they're going to bet another 4. And let's say everyone else calls them. So then everyone else bets 4 more. Now once the pot is good again, you burn another card and then flip 1 card this time. So now a jack comes up and everyone's sitting here like, what in the heck is going on? Because now the person with the ace has a straight, because ace, king, queen, 10, jack, or jack 10, excuse me, is a straight. And a straight beats 2 pair of king and 10. Now the person with pocket 3s is looking at this going, I'm probably not going to win. But if they stay in, you never know what can happen. So then the person to my left has the action again. He bets 4 more. Then let's say everyone else does the same thing. Remind you, going to your left. So then once the pot is good, the dealer takes the cards and he burns 1 more card and flips over what is called the river card, the 5th card. And it's a jack again. So now, the person with the aces is still sitting here with the best hand of a straight. This guy with the 10 king suited is looking at it like, I got 2 pair, I could see what happens. And now it is time for the pair of 3s, pocket 3s, to win. Or to fold, excuse me, not to win. It won for Phil Hellmuth, but in this case it's not going to win. So then we go back to the betting, because you're allowed to bet after the river card comes up. So the person to my left, the small blind, bets 4 more. Then so on and so forth, but this time the pair of 3 folds. So they're out of the hand. So then we go over, and once everyone's bet and the pot is good, if you're still in it to this point, they flip their cards to see who has the better hand. And as you can see, like I mentioned before, they have a straight. The people with aces have a straight. And the people with king 10 only has 2 pair. So the straight wins, and that means they receive all the money in the pot. So they win all of their money back plus all their opponent's money. Now, let's say, just for fun purposes here, that another random card comes up, like here we go. Like if this came up on the 4th card, if a 3 came up on the 4th card, now the pair of 3s would have 3 of a kind. And that would mean that they would beat a pair of aces, and they would also beat the 2 pair of king 10. This is where 2 pair can seem like it's a good hand, but sometimes it can come back to bite you, because 3 of one number will always beat 2 pair. And that's just how it works. I mean, I don't know who to blame here, but if it was me, I would blame, the British actor who invented the game of poker in 1829 New Orleans, when the original game, along with all the other commercial gambling that came along in 1829, was only played with 20 cards. So think about it. If you get 3 of a kind in 20 cards, I mean, that's a pretty valuable hand, and that's kind of how the game's evolved. And the betting scheme has also been the same since then, but that's why the rules are the way they are, So, after learning this brief description of a simple hand of poker, that is how Phil Hellmuth won his 15th World Series of Poker title bracelet. All because a third three, came up on the river card to win the championship.